Hey everyone, my name is Deep Patel, and I'm here to discuss the thin hull aircraft taxi conceptual design that was created by Justin Dubbin, Joshua Landis, Sahil Panchal, Pat Tran, and myself, Deep Patel. And we're going to get right into the description of the project here. We were tasked with creating an aircraft that could carry 4 to 6 passengers in a point-to-point style operation. The advantage that we're looking for here is that we're trying to bypass the traditional hub and spoke style of getting around that larger operators tend to employ. Airliners such as Delta or United, they'll fly you to their hub and then they'll fly you where you want to go. Our goal here is to create an aircraft that will take you exactly where you want to go. Now, the main mission that we use to design the physical aircraft is outlined in this slide here. Uh, Simple, fly up to a certain cruise altitude, cruise for X amount of miles, and then possibly loiter or land at the target airport. Now, we decided that we would be cruising for 300 nautical miles, and the reason being is that 300 nautical miles gets us just across the entirety of the East Coast within one stop. So the goal here is to compete with regional aircraft. This tends to be one of the busiest airspaces in the United States, and so we're expecting to compete a lot in this area. Now, the figures of merit that we use to determine the design specifications of the aircraft are listed here. We took into account what manufacturers, operators, customers all would be looking for in the aircraft. We wanted to make sure that the aircraft performs well, but is also cheap, it's easy to handle, and it's comfortable. So the final design that we have here has a piston engine due to the fact that this aircraft will not be getting too high into altitude, and it provides much better fuel economy and lower upfront cost as opposed to turboprops, for example. Piston engines are also generally cheaper to buy up front, and in addition, they're going to be lighter. Same reason that we chose one engine instead of two. We want to decrease the weight and we want to decrease the operating cost of the aircraft as a whole. The tail configuration is a conventional one as it's easiest to manufacture and maintain, and it also helps that the conventional tail is more aesthetically pleasing and something that most passengers are sort of used to seeing. So the fuselage design, as shown here, has about a 1 foot space between each seat. This is by regulation, but the main selling point that we're going for is the 3 feet of pitch in between the passengers. So most regional aircraft, they're piling in passengers as close as they can. We're opting to give them a little more space. In addition, we're opting to fly at 7,000 feet altitude instead of higher. And the reason being is that it's going to be more comfortable in terms of altitude fatigue because most of the aircraft that we are competing with, they fly at 8,000 or they pressurize at 8,000 feet, and it's going to be much more difficult for passengers to feel comfortable as opposed to our aircraft. So this slide gives a Dimension 3 view of the aircraft, gives you an idea of what it looks like in terms of physicality. The dimensions shown here are in feet. We have about a 40-foot wingspan on the aircraft as well as a 30-foot length on the entirety of the airplane. We ran a variety of analyses on this aircraft to ensure that it flies stable and it's structurally sound. So something that we wanted to showcase was the structural layout of the vertical and horizontal stabilizers as well as the main wing. Nothing too different compared to most general aviation aircraft here. We have a spar and rib sort of setup, but it gives you an idea of the type of analyses that went into the design of this aircraft. And we conclude with the cost estimates of the program as a whole. The cost is approximated using the Eastlake model, and this aircraft in particular will cost $2.2 million to develop alongside 2 test aircraft. And the cost of 200 units is where we're planning on at least hitting in terms of sales. We'll set at $2.5 million. And with the additional desired profit of 10%, that cost goes up $250,000 to somewhere around $2.8 million. What's next for the aircraft is to carry out refined analyses and also carry out detailed subsystem designs and then go through some of the points that you see on this slide, ultimately to get this aircraft off of paper and into the hands of customers. So thank you for your time.